Okay, hello. I'm gonna sit here and watch this Rich McCormick Maga town hall meeting in Georgia, where Maga and Republican voters that voted for Trump, and even this Congressman Rich McCormick, how to react to all the chaos going on, for all the cutting of the jobs, and all this buck wild stuff going on that is not being regulated by Congress. Congress voted for all these different things, and Congress should be able to undo them. And one person should not be able to just undo all these things as though he's a king and have unlimited power. So let's listen to this, and you guys tell me, what do you think?
Mr. Musk is doing the appropriate work and the appropriate method apparently asked by the president? And if so, why?
So this is the most commonly asked question. We kind of reviewed all the questions. This is the number one question, so we want to address it right up front because some of you really wanted to have this addressed. Let me explain how the history of the review process in government works just historically. Whether you go all the way back to Carter, Reagan, Clinton, Obama, Bush, they all had review processes. Sometimes it was called the Grace Commission. Sometimes it was called digital services. They always had access in order to review where the money goes in government. President Trump renamed it the Doge.
No, he didn't.
They have the same information.
That is not being regulated by Congress. Congress voted for all these different things, and Congress should be able to undo them. And one person should not be able to just undo all these things as though he's a king and have unlimited power. So let's listen to this, and you guys tell me, what do you think?
Mr. Musk is doing the appropriate work and the appropriate method apparently asked by the president. And if so, why?
So this is the most commonly asked question. We kind of reviewed all the questions. This is the number one question, so we want to address it right up front because some of you really wanted to have this addressed. Let me explain how the history of the review process in government works just historically. Whether you go all the way back to Carter, Reagan, Clinton, Obama, Bush, they all had review processes. Sometimes it was called the Grace Commission. Sometimes it was called digital services. They always had access in order to review where the money goes in government. President Trump renamed it the Doge.
No, he didn't.
They have the same information access as the digital services.
They changed it all.
Wait.
The crowd.
I'm going to explain something. So for about 1 hour, one person had more access than they were supposed to. He didn't use it. He didn't even know he had it. And then they closed the loop.
Lying. Authority.
Oh, these people have access to my personal information.
They do.
Guess what? The IRS has tons of information on your personal information. This is going to go really slowly if you don't let me finish. You got to let me finish.
Government workers.
You got to let me finish. You can disagree with me all you want, but I'm just telling you the way it is. And I get that you don't agree with me and you think I'm not telling the truth. But that's...
And you're not.
That's... Unless they're lying to me.
They are.
And you can say they are.
You're lying to them.
So...
Thank you,
so
who?
Thank you. Okay. So apparently you know more than I do, so that's fine. I don't know what you're here to hear me for.
People.
So the point being that my understanding of Doge is very similar to digital services, and they are tracking a lot of money that has gone to a lot of places that shouldn't have gone.
Think he can control the crowd.
Elon was going to be the main topic tonight, and he's going to continue to be the main topic tonight because we are all freaking pissed off about this. You're going to hear it and feel it. However, relative to your experience as a service member, thank you for your service. According to your bio, your deployment to various areas of conflict, I would like to know your opinion and your stance on the current situation created by the president, wherein he is now saying that Ukraine is responsible for the war that Russia has initiated. And I would like to know if you as a congressman will get with your fellow congresspeople and stand up to the lies that are being told to the Americans.
They won't.
And I would also like to know if you believe that the 80-year-old alliance that we have with our European allies is strong enough to withstand the attack from our White House, because this is a dangerous, dangerous precedent. You as a serviceman should help us.
I believe what Reagan said 40 years ago and point to Hawk, which he said,
Just words we use.
isolationism never was and never will be the answer to a tyrannical expansionist government. I've been to Kyiv. I've actually sat with President Zelensky in person. I think we could have ended the war very quickly, quite frankly. If
Ukraine
Europe
just
and the United States, which is a cumulative of $47 trillion, goes against Russia, who has a GDP of $2 trillion, we should be able to defeat them pretty rapidly. And I told President Zelensky, I said, if you really want to continue support, because I understand how that waxes or wanes over time, right? I said, just make sure that the money goes to the place it needs to go, because Americans won't understand if it goes to a teacher's pension. It'll understand if it goes to the military to fight a war, but we have teachers' pensions too. And a bunch of this went to USAID and a bunch went to the World Bank, and it was supposed to just disseminate in appropriate manners. That's what we're investigating right now. Now, I'm not sure, because, and Zelensky, I think, is an honest broker of what he's trying to accomplish. He wants to save his nation. And I want Ukraine to win. And President Trump said he wants to, and I know you're gonna get, this is what he said. But it's in our best interest. It's in our best interest, in my opinion.
Cool.
And by the way, this splits the Republican Party down the middle. Half the Republicans support, half the
Don't try to finesse them.
have repeatedly spoken up on this. Repeatedly. I'm speaking about it right now, and I voted for you.
Again.
If those cuts, as you said on Fox News, I believe, that there's hundreds of billions of dollars to be saved with Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security that needs to be cut. And why not take that money from taxing the billionaires and corporations instead?
That's what everybody's saying.
You're talking about the Medicaid, Medicare. His original question was, there's a lot of cuts that are coming down. What are we going to do about Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security? Actually, President Trump has been pretty quick to say he doesn't want to touch Social Security. Now, I believe we have to. And let me tell you how. Let me tell you how. This is a bipartisan solution. Please listen.
Not bipartisan.
I've talked to several of my Democratic colleagues about a bipartisan solution to Social Security. We'll start there, and we'll work down the other two here in a second. You can actually adjust it, and you have to, by the way. If you don't do something in about 7 years, we'll have an automatic 21% cut. We won't vote on that. That just happens.
It's a threat to the
It's already
seniors.
built in. I'm trying to stop that from happening. Can we talk about a bipartisan solution, please?
What are you going to do to make our school system strong? And if we're going to be a red state or a blue state, I don't care. But what are we going to do to make sure our schools stay good?
I just want to say this. The reason they want to get rid of the Department of Education, and it won't affect you directly, but it will affect your kids. If your kids are in middle school or lower, that's what this cut the Department of Education is for, to dumb everybody down. So when they tell you stupid stuff like they're telling you right now, and what Trump constantly says on the air, you'll be more gullible to listen to it. That's what is the reason. That's what they want to. The education system we got now is maybe not the best in the world, but they want to use to take that money away from this, so we'll be dumbed down. So our grandkids and our kids and the great grandkids will be dumbed down. And when they tell us stupid stuff, we'll just listen to it and just go with it. So this guy here, if you voted for him, y'all need to recall him or vote him out of office next time. He's trying to patronize you guys.
But our kids stay healthy.
So actually, I'm an educator for 4 years. I taught in private and public schools as a associate professor. I take education very seriously.
No, you don't.
My middle child received IEP, is that what it's called, for the special needs.
That's a very important part he just said. That is very important what he just said. He acted like he didn't know what an IED is. Not IED. What is that? EIP. If he taught and he's educated. He know what an EIP is. But he said that to act like he didn't know, like he's one of you guys. That tells you right there this guy's playing you. He knows what it is. He stumbled through saying the words. He knows exactly what it is. I tell you.
So this is my middle child who's full grown now and doing well in college, who I've encouraged to go to a technical school so he can make a living and not be replaced by AI, and do some things that really would benefit his life based on his individual talents. I take education very seriously. I think AI can be transformative. I think
Hey, let him get through the question, please.
There's that kid in the
Please.
background talking like
If you would
he's
let him finish, maybe
control
he will
everything.
answer the question. Stop interrupting it.
He should be in college somewhere, really learning.
I want to say that from a conservative perspective, the approach of Doge is completely 180 degrees. They've been indiscriminate and they've taken
Absolutely.
a chainsaw to these things. We've seen that with workers from the nuclear workers, the NNSA, our nuclear stockpile,
Yep.
and CDC workers working on the bird flu being fired by Doge and then having to be rehired when someone realizes, oh gosh, we need those
Yep,
people.
we made a mistake.
So I've been down to CDC several times. Actually, Dr. Howery, one of my former attendings, works there, and I'm in close contact with the CDC. They have about, 13,000 employees? 13,000 employees at the CDC. In the last couple of years, those probationary people, which is about 10% of their employee base, which is about 1,300 people, which you're referring to, a lot of the work they do is duplicitous with AI. Once again, one of the problems we have, I happen to be a doctor. I know a few things, okay? Just give me a break.
It'll make you smarter.
If we
That's
continue to
all.
grow the size of government and we can't afford it, it's going to have shortfalls in your Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and other things that we can't afford, guys. We have to make some decisions. Nobody can hear him when you're yelling. Please let him continue.
Trying to do more with less.
Yeah.
That's reasonable. What's not reasonable is taking this chainsaw approach, which they obviously admit when they fired these people and then decided, oh, we fired the wrong people. We got to bring them back in.
Yes.
Why is this being jammed down the pipe so rushed and sloppily?
So
Look, I want to say something else for these Dodge cuts and what Trump and Elon Musk said. He mentioned about people who are 120, 130, 170, 60, 200 something years old receiving checks. But that's not a secret if it was true. You're reading reading something off a paper, or maybe or you're making it up. It's not a secret. Why not take that paper and make it public and show everybody? What are you talking about? Show the names. Show the checks they receive. You're making this up just to give raw meat to your base so they would jump on this bandwagon and say, cut more. You have not shown anybody anything. You're just talking. Show me where somebody 200-something years old received a check from the government. You can post that and put it on put it on a whiteboard, blackboard, or teleprompter where everybody can see it. They're making the stuff up as they go. I tell you, I don't know what to say.
my understanding is when you say you have this many employees that you have to cut, that organization decides who they're going to cut. Now they may make
It's that kid behind him, like he got
nobody can hear him and nobody can hear
you.
you. So please be respectful.
My point, though, is the conservative approach is to take this in a slow and methodical way so that you make sure you do it right. And that's not happening.
So when it comes to spending, and this is where we will agree, or hopefully, maybe we don't agree, but
Well,
when we talk about presidential powers, now I've always been a big person that believes that the president should never do anything that affects monetary, basically taxation or anything that has an impact, economic impact over 100 million. There's actually a REINS Act that doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, executive orders are limited because I think that's fair. I think it should be in balance, right? And you can say, oh, I don't like it when Trump does this, and I don't like it when Biden does this. I personally think we have to go more slow. But I'm not the president, and this is going to be litigated, and it's
Then
going to
voice
face
your
up all the
concern
public
to
opinion.
those people in that audience there.
But
Say something.
But
They wanna
this
see
is
you say
also a reaction to growing the government rapidly, just like it's shrinking rapidly. Maybe not to the same extreme, but this is a reaction to something that's happened by expanding the government rapidly.
I'm a direct descendant of Susanna
There you go.
Henry Madison, one of Patrick Henry's younger sisters, and a cousin by marriage of James Madison. Do you know who Patrick Henry was and James Madison, sir?
Probably not. He gonna say yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that. While arguing the need for the American Revolution, Patrick Henry said, "A king is a tyrant. If a wrong step is made now, the republic will be lost forever and tyranny will rise." I believe you know the rest of his speech. Something about give me liberty.
Give me death.
It's clear from all the writings of our founding fathers that our great republic was never meant to be ruled by a dictator nor a king.
Absolutely, that's true. Absolutely.
So, so you can imagine my shock and pure horror when I woke up to find that our president had given himself unprecedented executive powers and then within a few days named himself king to his followers.
Y'all didn't believe. Mess around and found out. Finding out. aren't you?
Tyranny.
Yeah,
Tyranny.
Virginia, do you have a question for the
I
congressman?
do. I
Okay.
do. Thank you.
Somebody shit.
Tyranny is rising in the White House, and a man has declared himself our king. So I would like to know, rather, the people would like.
I'm gonna say this reference this lady. The people already knew because he told you he was gonna do this. He told you. He said he was gonna do this. And you was like, okay, it's gonna affect somebody else, it's not gonna affect me. And then when it come home to hit you, now there's a problem. But before, when you thought it was somebody else, it wasn't a problem. Messed around and found out.
Like to know what you, congressmen, and your fellow congressmen are going to do
Yeah,
to
idiot,
rein
idiot with him.
in the megalomaniac in the White House.
Megalomaniac. They're gonna do that town hall meeting again. Like they did the first Trump administration. They stopped doing those town hall meetings so the people came out and spoke against what this idiot was doing.
When you talk about tyranny, when you talk about presidential power, I remember having the same discussion with Republicans when Biden was elected.
Now you did. Now you did.
The funny thing is,
This guy
the
here.
funny thing is, you're sitting here and a lot of you would
Just
probably
digging
say
it
those
deeper.
January
Yeah,
6s
digging it
who are
deeper.
yelling just as loud as you, who are upset just like you, and not listening.
Hey, let's restore some order.
Not
Let's
listening.
restore some order. Hey, let's restore some order.
So
Stop
yelling
screaming
at
out.
me is not going to get any answer, okay?
Hey,
Like I said, we're not going to
point
yell.
of order.
We're
Hey,
not gonna-
let's get
Please.
through this, Congressman. Hey,
Thought you were safe, didn't you?
I've seen Game of Thrones too. Thank you. Let's go ahead and move on because if you're not going to listen, if you're not going to listen to the answer, we might as well not discuss it, right? Do you want to hear the answer? If you'd stop yelling, I will answer. Otherwise, we'll move on. If you would stop talking for a second, I will answer your question. Okay? So
Stop
if you
talking,
listen
Steve.
to what we've
Stop
projected,
talking,
and this goes both parties, by the way. This is a bipartisan problem. The REINS Act, which reins in executive power for both parties, whoever's in party power, and I think it could be tweaked actually to be much better. I don't think executive privilege should be as strong as it is. I think we're out of balance right now. I think your direct representation,
out of
whether you
balance.
like me or not, I'm the closest thing you have to a representative. Your senator's not going to be as representative as you, as me. And the president's not going to be as representative as me when it comes to you, the people in this district. Likewise, I think state government needs to be more powerful than federal government. It used to be that federal funds only made up 1/3 of the money spent, and states was 2/3. It's more representative of your money and your money spent. That's better. Always push government down to the local level because you'll get better representation. I don't want to see the president make all the decisions.
You're not giving them guys.
I answered it directly. I said I don't want to see any president be too powerful.
What's your opinion?
We're going to move on to the next question, sir.
If we're not going to have a conversation, go ahead and move to the next question. If you're yelling, that means you're part of the problem, okay?
Ben Pearson from Alpharetta, which I don't think you're here, or maybe you're in the overflow room, Ben. But his question for you, sir, is do you support RFK Jr.? If so, please explain how supporting him aligns with the Hippocratic oath you took.
Let's go. Let's hear this one.
So just like every bureaucrat and just like every politician, I have differences of opinion with him. I do.
On January 9th, 2025, you joined as a sponsor of HR 22 SAVE Act. This means that me and 69 million women like me who have taken their spouse's last name will not be eligible to vote. I want you to look me in the eye and tell me why you are trying to take away my right to vote.
No, we'll get away with this.
So if you're saying this bill is going to take away 69 million people's right to vote, I disagree.
Every single news outlet, Fox, CNN, every news outlet that is reporting on this are saying that it is going to make it incredibly difficult for any woman who has a married last name to vote. It is a voter suppression law that you signed on as a sponsor of, and I want to know why you're scared for me to vote.
I'm definitely not scared of you vote. If you'll let me talk, I think you'll see that we're just down at an IT conference and a bipartisan approach to voter ID. Now, they actually have digital ID that we can do in the future that's going to solve a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. And this is a Democrat. Wait, no, this is a Democrat. I'm going to tell you what a Democrat solution is that I agree with, if you'll allow me. If it's a bipartisan issue or not. Do we want to come to a conclusion where we can agree and move on? Or do you just want to yell at me and call me names? If you want to do that, I can just stand back here and you can just yell at me. But if you want to solve this problem, we can actually give I'll just sit back here and just let you yell at me if you like.
No, McCormick, I hear what you're saying about a digital solution.
Trying to come up with a solution,
but the SAVE Act that you are sponsoring requires a paper ballot. It requires a paper birth certificate. It requires you to show up in person. It takes away everything digital that you're talking about. It requires in-person voting registration with a birth certificate that matches your current legal last name. It is voter suppression. It is not a bipartisan solution.
Thank you. It's a Republican solution to limiting voting rights.
Mr. Kent Agramont from Roswell.
You had a kid again.
So I'm happy to review what it says, but because I disagree with you, I don't think it says that. And I don't think it disenfranchises 69 million people. You can yell all you want, or we can have a discussion, and you can come in. We can actually go over the line by line.
They can't come and do that.
Look, guys, here's the deal. I came here to have a discussion.
You will not be available.
I think a lot of you didn't come here in good faith to have a discussion. You came here to yell at me and to boo me. The fact that I came here was because I knew there'd be about 75% of the people that were unhappy, and I wanted to have a discussion about how we can get to the end point and solve some problems. I didn't have to come here. My staff didn't have to come here.
You didn't want to. You want again.
I didn't. No, I didn't. There is no law that says Congressman McCormick has to stand here in front of you.
No.
This is my, how many town halls have we done?
Right there.
4.
We've done 4 town halls. And I continue to come back, and I'll continue to come back. But if you want to have a discussion, we can have a discussion. But this is about solving problems, not about just yelling at each other. Because once again, we don't convince each other by yelling. We convince each other by sitting down and figuring out how we solve a problem. That's it.
Okay. And as you can see, these people messed around and found out. The oligarchs, or whatever you call them, have taken over our government. Now they about to marshal in some fascism. When Trump said you wouldn't have to vote again, that's what this whole process is. That's why everybody's getting fired, and only putting people in that will follow whatever instructions he gives. You gave America away. You gave America away because you wanted eggs. You wanted 10 cents off some eggs and 20 cents off gasoline because you thought Biden had done everything wrong in the world. But actually, it was global inflation. It just wasn't American inflation. But that's what you wanted. But I don't see you storming the Capitol like you did January 6, 2020. And if you did, Trump had put people in place, they'll probably just blow you away. You messed around and found out. You messed around and found out. And each day you're going to find out a little bit more. Because you thought that he was going to touch somebody else and not you. You were not worth more than anybody else you thought it would be touched. It's a shame it has come to this. Now the question is, what do you do? The midterms not guaranteed right now at this time. Because as much as he's done in these first 30 days, imagine what he could do the next 17 months to ensure that you don't vote again. You don't vote again. I just need you only this time. I keep saying this. You messed around and you found out. I'm telling you. You was told the first time. You seen January 6th. And you were ignorant to that fact. That what you seen on TV, they told you it didn't happen, and you believed it. You seen it and told your own eyes, your own mind, that didn't happen. It wasn't that way. You messed around and you found out. What more can I say? Y'all need to figure something out. I think I'm sitting back drinking a sip of this. This is crazy. That's around I found out. You guys have a good day.